Welcome students to our session for Speaking with Confidence for English Language SPM Paper 3 Speaking. I'm Madam Emily John from SMK Mak Mandin, an excellent teacher for English language, and today I'll be sharing with you some tips and guidelines on how to do well for your speaking paper. Okay, so let's go on. So for today's session, we will be looking at some of the problems or issues that students face when they are speaking and some tips and strategies that you can use to overcome your fear of speaking in English. Okay, now, confident communication is your gateway to success. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, being confident is not about using big words or having the perfect grammar. It's about expressing your ideas and thoughts clearly so that your audience understands what you are talking about. Okay, so what do we do to overcome our anxiety and to be able to speak better? Okay, let's look at now. First, we will look at what is SPM English Paper 3 Speaking is all about. Now, as you can see here, it assesses your ability to express your opinion, share your ideas and thoughts about a certain topic, provide explanations or suggestions. So as you are talking about the topic, you must be able to provide explanation or suggestions on a certain topic. And third, you are able to engage in a discussion with a partner, especially for part 3 discussion. Okay? And you will be graded on grammar, vocabulary, communicative competence, and overall spoken performance. Okay, what do I mean by that? The assessment criteria involves these 4 criteria, and you have 2 assessors, 2 teachers. One is an assessor and the other is an interlocutor who will look at these components to assess you. Okay, when it comes to grammar, we want to see that you are able to use the language accurately. Okay, not perfect, but accurate. You are able to use words correctly, and you are able to use a variety of structures. Okay, simple, compound, complex structures in presenting your ideas. And you are able to use a wide range of cohesive devices. Okay, there's a flow to your thoughts. Next, we will look at vocabulary. Are you able to use a wide range of vocabulary? Are you able to use good words to present your ideas and thoughts? And can you convey the differences in the words that you use? Next, communicative competence is when you are able to express yourself spontaneously. You do not need a lot of prompting, and you can start, maintain, expand, or even end the conversation properly, especially during the discussion part with your partner. And of course, relate effectively with your partner. Okay? And for overall spoken performance, you understand the task, okay? You know what you need to do, you can do it spontaneously, and you can maintain and develop interaction between yourself and your partner. And of course, very little or no prompting. That means you can do it on your own. Okay? Now, why confidence is the key in speaking? Okay, let's look at this. When you are confident, you are able to project clarity, you are clear in what you're saying, you have purpose and authority, and people want to listen to you. So your thoughts are clear and people are engaged in listening to what you are saying. Okay, and when you are confident, you also can manage your stress and you can manage your anxiety as well. And that makes your message more persuasive. People are willing to listen to you. They are willing to follow your advice, and you build trust with your listener. Okay? Now, these are common challenges in speaking. I think most of the students do face this problem most of the time. Okay? The fear of judgment or making mistake in front of your peer is one of the major challenges that most students are facing nowadays when it comes to speaking English. They are very shy, they are very hesitant about speaking in front of their peers, in front of their classmates, and making mistakes. And they struggle with vocabulary or fluency. Sometimes they do not know the right word to use in the right situation for the topics that they are given. So they struggle because they do not know what are the words they are supposed to use. Okay? And students have difficulty organizing ideas. Their thoughts are all jumbled up, and sometimes they think in their mother tongue, so they do not know what to say in English, how to put it in English, and to plan their ideas in a smooth flow of thoughts. And they speak without body language awareness. Okay, sometimes the gestures, the facial expression also conveys a certain meaning. So some students or many students do not understand that body language also plays a role in imparting meaning to the conversation. And of course, lack of practice. In my case, many of my students do not speak English outside the language classroom. So because of this, they lack practice. And I'm sure for many of you out there, you do not practice speaking in English at home unless in your family you do speak English. Most of the time, students use their mother tongue, and the only time they use English is in the classroom. Okay, next. So, how do we overcome these problems, and how do we become better speakers of English language? All right. So these are effective strategies, okay, for speaking with confidence. All right. Now, first, you have to learn how to prepare your ideas and structure them. Even though you may be thinking in your mother tongue, in Bahasa, in Tamil or in Chinese, you need to be able to get your thoughts in order, even in that short period of time, that 20 seconds, that 1 minute preparation time. Okay. Learn to use linking words. Many students do not know how to use linking words or cohesive device correctly. Okay, even when we speak, we do use cohesive devices. Like for example, firstly, furthermore, besides that, in addition, and so on. Okay, and when you speak, you do not speak in a monotonous tone. Okay, there's always intonation and rhythm to your way you speak. You stress certain words, you emphasize certain words to make your conversation more engaging and to show people that what you want to say to them means, okay, what you're trying to emphasize, an instruction, okay, to give information about something, a message, okay? And of course, many students do not learn how to control their pace and the tone of voice. They either speak at a very flat tone or they go very fast. Why they go very fast? Because they are very nervous, which is normal. Okay, many students, because they are very nervous, they speak very fast, and sometimes it's hard to understand what they are saying. So learn to control your pace. You need to know your timing. You need to know how to set your timing within that 1 minute or 2 minutes of discussion time, 1 minute of presenting your ideas, and even for the hot question at the end. All right, and finally, whenever you present an idea or you want to give an opinion about something, always support your ideas with examples. When you can justify your ideas and your thoughts with example, that gives it more power, okay, and that makes it more interesting for people to listen because they know that you know what you're talking about, okay, because you are able to give examples to support your points. So practice giving examples for whatever points you are suggesting. Give examples. Now, how do you build speaking confidence? Well, it comes with practice. First, you can try starting with daily practice of 2 to 3 minutes. You can do it on your own. Record yourself. Get a topic, record yourself, and see what you're saying, whether it makes sense, there's a flow, you're using cohesive devices, and you can also share it with your teacher or check it with a peer, your partner, and see whether you're on the right track. And from there, you can correct yourself. Or you can work with a partner. Record and share with each other and then share the points and thoughts. All right? One way to self-evaluate is when you record, you can see the mistakes that you're making. And from there, you can improve yourself and correct yourself so that you don't repeat the mistakes the next time. Okay? Then another way to improve in speaking in any language, especially for English, is to join English clubs or plan practice groups. This is what I do with my students sometimes. I put them in groups, I give them topics, I ask them to discuss the points, and then share the points with each other. And then evaluate each other. Help each other, correct the mistakes that you make, okay? Give feedback to each other, help each other to improve. And please try to use English in real life situations. What do I mean by this is use English also outside of the English classroom. Okay, when you go to McDonald's to order food, order in English. When you go to a shop to buy something, ask for information in English. Okay, this will help you to use English in real life situations and become more confident in using the language properly. Okay, even if you make mistake, it's okay. As you use it all the time, it becomes an habit and you become better at it. And now, finally, how to manage speaking anxiety. Many of us are anxious when we want to speak. It's not easy. I understand. Even as adults also sometimes we feel anxious. So how do we overcome this problem? One thing that you can do is take deep breaths before you speak. Count to 10, okay? Practice deep breathing, relax yourself, all right? Focus on your message and not being perfect. We make mistakes. Even I make mistakes when I speak sometimes. Visualize success before your turn. Always imagine yourself in a situation where you are able to speak. Visualize your success and use positive self-talk. Always tell yourself that I can do this. I can speak in English. I can speak English well. Okay, as you do it all the time, it becomes ingrained in you. It's inside you. It becomes a habit again. So I hope all these tips and thoughts that I've shared with you can help you. Okay, you have to recognize your problem and overcome it with the right solution. So this is the end of part 1. Okay, session. We will meet each other in the next session where I will share with you how to analyze the SPM speaking paper part 2. Thank you very much. Welcome students to another session of Speaking with Confidence for SPM English Paper 3 Speaking. I'm Madam Emily John from SMK Mak Mandin, an English excellent teacher and for English language. And today I'm going to do another session with you on how to do well for your speaking paper 3. Okay? So today we are going to look at the questions. We are going to analyze the questions that you will be facing during the SPM paper 3. Now, the type of questions that can come out is very wide. There are a lot of topics that can be covered for this section of your speaking paper. Okay, so before we continue, let me just review, okay, the assessment criteria, which is grammar, vocabulary, communicative competence, and overall spoken performance. Now, for grammar, we want to see that you are able to use the language accurately. Okay, not perfectly, but you can use the language, the words correctly. Then we want to see a variety of structures and also a wide range of cohesive devices. For vocabulary, you are able to use the right vocabulary, okay, a wide range of vocabulary, and you are able to convey the differences in meaning by using the relevant vocabulary. And for communicative competence, you're able to express yourself spontaneously. Okay, you can start, maintain, expand, and also end the conversation with your partner. All right, and relate effectively with your partner. And finally, for overall spoken performance, you understand the task, you're able to answer the questions spontaneously, okay, and maintain and develop interaction. And finally, very little or no prompting. That means you're able to answer the questions on your own and the teacher doesn't need to help you or to encourage you to speak. Now, let's look at the first question. Okay, now this is a topic on saving money. Okay, if in your syllabus it will be under financial awareness or consumerism. So this idea is about how you're going to save money. Okay, as you can see, there are 4 bullet points. Okay, there are 4 bullet points and each bullet points is to guide you on how to answer the question within 1 minute. Now remember, you will get 20 seconds of preparation time before you start answering. And in that 20 seconds, you kind of like plan what you're going to say for these 4 bullet points. Now, in the question, as you can see, they're asking you how much you save in a week, where you keep the money, what you will do with the money, and why is it important, okay, to have savings. You can agree, you can disagree. So why or why not? Now, for the first 2 questions, is about direct questions. Okay, how much you save in a week? Well, I save about 20 ringgit a week, depending on how much I spend. My parents give me an allowance of 50 ringgit, and sometimes I use the money to buy food or any school necessities, and the balance I will save in my mini bank or piggy bank or keep it in the house. Okay, so where you keep it, you can say whether you keep it in the bank, or some students may say, well, I keep it in my mini bank in the house, like a small piggy bank, and at the end of the month, I will deposit the money into a savings account at the bank. Okay, so these two questions are direct questions. You do not have to elaborate so much on it because remember, 1 minute. The last two questions, what you would do with the money, that you need to explain a little bit more because it's like a describing what you're going to do with it, the money. Okay, well, I'll probably use the money to buy a new tablet or a new handphone, for example, or I need a new knapsack for school, and I don't want to trouble my parents, so I'm saving money for that. Or I plan to go for a holiday with my cousins, and I want to use the money that I save for expenses during the trip, so that I don't have to burden my family or my parents so much. Okay, so you see, you kind of like know what you're going to say already for each question. So the first two questions, maybe about 10 seconds or so. Then the third and fourth question, you'll be spending a little bit more time. Now, the last question is normally a HOTS question, a thinking skills question, where you need to give your opinion or your ideas and you kind of like explain a little bit more deeper about the point that you want to say. Why is it important to have savings? Now, why is it important? Well, I want to have an emergency fund in case of something that may happen in the future, and I'm ready because I have some money saved. Okay, or it's important to have money saved because then if there is a necessity in the future to buy something or to do something, I have my own money and I do not have to borrow or ask somebody for that money. So this will avoid me getting into debts and disturbing others and asking money from my parents or anyone else. So you are explaining a little bit more and in deeper details about how you're going to why is it important to save money? Okay. Now remember, 1 minute. If you go slightly more than 1 minute, we will not abruptly stop. Okay, stop now. No, we will say, okay, thank you very much. We will take the booklet back from you. Now, do not look at the booklet when you're speaking. Look at the teacher if possible. When you look down at your booklet, your voice is going down. Okay, so it's better to look at the teacher, the interlocutor, and present your points. Okay, so let's look at another question. Hey, learning something new. Today, I would like you to talk about learning about a new thing you have learned recently. Now, a new thing that you have learned can be anything. Can be a skill, can be something that you learned at home or on your own, or you have to pay to learn. Okay, for example, some students maybe they talk about learning how to drive, or they can talk about learning how to use Canva, okay, or any other apps. Okay, we have so many apps out there. So let's say, for example, you say, what did you learn? I learned how to use Canva on my own to design posters and other graphic materials that I could use for my assignments and for my homework. Okay, so you can talk about how you learn it. Well, I watch YouTube tutorials and I also ask my friends who were quite good at it to show me how to do certain things. And as I practice, I got better at it. Okay. Now, why is it useful? Learning a new skill is always useful, even if it's driving or cooking. Some students may say the new skill that they learn is cooking. Okay. So let's continue with Canva. Why is it useful for you? Well, learning a design skill like Canva is helpful for me because I can use it in my job later on, or whatever job I do, I can use it to present my thoughts or ideas in a poster, in a PowerPoint, or even if it's a farewell function, I can do a video presentation. So using Canva is kind of like a very creative kind of skill, and it will help me in the future. So you can explain. And finally, why is it important for teenagers to learn new things? Why is it important? Okay, most of the time students will say, yes, it is important. Very unlikely students will say that it is not important because learning a new skill is good. Okay, but if you say it's not important, you have to justify. So let's say it is important. When you learn a new skill, it will help you to build your future. It will help you to plan. It will help you to perform better at a job. And of course, impress others with your skills and maybe gain you a promotion. So having a new skill is definitely advantageous for a person. So explain, plan, explain your thoughts, and give example. For example, if you are working as a graphic designer, knowing how to use Canva very well will definitely help to make your job easier. Okay? Right, next, let's talk about e-wallet. Okay, this is another common question that comes out nowadays. Talk about an e-wallet application. Now, you need to say what is e-wallet. E-wallet is what? A cashless kind of transaction where you spend money. You do not have to actually bring your money with you, your cash with you. You can use it by just scanning and paying for it using your phone. Okay, and how to use an e-wallet? You have to download the app, probably Touch and Go or Boost or even Grab Pay. Now you can pay with Grab Pay. So you have to mention which e-wallet you are likely to use and explain a little bit on how to use it. You need to have money in your e-wallet before you can pay for something, right? So maybe you have to upload or top up your the amount that you have in that wallet. Okay, whether it's e-wallet, Touch and Go e-wallet or Grab Pay or whatever, you have to have money in and then you use it and scan and pay for something. Would you like to have an e-wallet? Now, some of my students said no. This is quite interesting. If you say yes, why would you like to have an e-wallet? Well, it's safer. I do not have to bring a lot of cash with me. I can pay using the money that I have in my e-wallet, and I don't have spend exceeding my budget. So if my parents give me 50 ringgit in my e-wallet, I use that to pay for whatever I use. But some students say no. If they say no, why is it? They say no, it's a problem because it tends to make you spend more. Some people feel that they spend more when they have money in the e-wallet. They ask their parents to top up and all that. And another thing is, sometimes, what if your battery dies in your phone? That will be a problem, right? How are you going to pay for something if your battery is out and you can't use your phone? So that is again like a danger, right? And finally, why should people use e-wallets wisely? Now, thinking skills question, remember, you need to plan. Why do you think people should use e-wallets wisely? Well, you need to use it wisely because you do not exceed your budget, you do not waste money, you plan what you need, okay? You buy the things that you need rather than the things that you just want. When you see something, oh, I like it, I want it. No. So e-wallet can help you to plan your expenses, your budget, and help you to spend wisely and not waste money. So explain clearly and get your ideas and thoughts in order. Okay? So we have looked at 3 questions. I hope that the ideas and thoughts that I shared with you will help you to look at the questions in other questions or even these questions again and help you to plan your own answers. Maybe you can try the same questions. This will be a good practice for you. So please do try. As I said, every little practice that you have for English is definitely helpful. All right. So that's the end of our second session. Okay, thank you. We will meet again in another session. All right. Thank you for joining me today.